Good morning, TCG fam. How are y'all doing? Got some bearish action happening on SPY, which is a little curious with this bull push that we got from oil. So they have broken up for the moment, gotten a short little divorce. Get started in just a few seconds here. Very bearish candle on the 15-minute. So bearish engulfing. 2-minute getting a little bit of a hammer. Bulls are trying to buy the dip right there. On the hourly is trying to hold the 12 EMA on a back test here. We have support at $299.98. Let's just call it $300 psychological. And then $299.98 and then $299.55, which matches up over here, $299.59, $299.41. We got some support levels in there. We got elevated bear volume on this pullback though, so bulls are making a statement here. And on any bounce, we're still expecting a 5-minute lower high on SPY. All right, it's 10 o'clock my time, noon Eastern. Let's get started for real. All right, SPY. SPY is having a consolidation, which is healthy at this point. Nothing too alarming for the bulls. It's happening on overall lower volume. So we know for bears to get any traction and start making any lower lows on the hourly, they got to show up with volume. And right now they just don't have it. Noticing this little RSI support here. Not quite valid, but close. So on the 5-minute, you have your next support again is $300 psychological, then $299.98. Your resistance $371 and $389. If I were looking for a SPY trade, I would only be looking short, and I wouldn't short this bear break. I would wait for a pop up to closer to 371 to try to snag a lower high. So oil had some OPEC news. I was just kind of drawing this little EQ that we had a bull break from, and then we pulled back, which we have to watch our commodities. Sometimes we get these bull and bear breaks and just by 10 to 15 cents, and then they pull back. So right now, this pullback, bulls are giving up a little bit more than they'd like to see to possibly negate this bull flag, and it's happening on elevated bear volume on this consolidation. So your next support on the 5-minute is $54.11, then $54 psychological, then $53.86. Your resistance $54.71 and $54.78. I've been getting some messages about how I would trade oil. So I would be looking for a short in this area relative to $54.71, and then with a really tight stop, because that was some pretty bullish news that happened there. OPEC's going to have some cuts. So Nat Gas. Nat Gas is having a bull move, and then I also have a question about Nat Gas for bull entry. Okay, so what I've been watching, Victors, on this 4-hour is the odds favor a lower high relative to 2,354. So I would not be looking long here. I would be looking for a pullback and then possibly try to snag a higher low relative to 2,228. So 222.8 or 221. Somewhere in this area is what I would be looking for a bull entry, because the odds favor that we would not go from a lower low straight to a higher high on this 4-hour. So I've actually flipped from long to short and been flipping DGAS here on this double top 2298 on Nat Gas USD. So this is spot price. We have a lot of questions about why some of the ETFs that y'all are tracking are not following Nat Gas. Remember, Nat Gas USD is spot price. So your ETFs, your UGAS, DGAS, GasL, they are following Nat Gas futures, and Nat Gas futures just rolled over to December. So there is a slight disparity between Nat Gas USD and NG. So if you are a serious commodities trader, even if it's not futures and it's ETFs, you may want to invest in live data so you can track Nat Gas and oil futures, or if you have Thinkorswim, you can do that free there or on investing.com. All right, so We got our nat gas levels. Let's go look at gold. Gold has this tight range, which Dan expressed this morning as well. We have resistance at 1498.46 and support at 1477.20. Anything in the middle of this is chop zone. You want to be shorting this level here or longing this level here. Everything in the middle is just a chop fest. Right now we got a clear downtrend on the 5-minute. Lower highs, lower lows. We would want gold to get over 1485.45 in order to get that nugget bounce. I see a lot of you are asking about nugget and GDX, and we got this daily beautiful falling wedge. We need gold to get its act together in order for GDX to get its act together. So your support on gold is 1483.80. And then 1480.60. Your 15-minute resistance is 1485.45 and then 1488.90. Bitcoin, let's see, what are we doing on Bitcoin? Looks like well, it's a little bit more than a bear flag. We got a little bit of a V shape, so it's bounced a little high that we would still expect a higher low relative to 81.40.50. We do have a TCG bear cross on that 5-minute. We would odds favor a lower high compared to 8266.10, and then your next resistance is 8291.40. After the support of 8140.50, your next support is not until 8,000 psychological. Man, crypto, I miss you. I wish you would get your act together. All right. CGC. CGC is having quite a bull move here. It has a new high of day at 20. Oh, I turned my extended hours. It has a new high of day. The next resistance is 2078, then 2089. We really need it to get over this 2091, and it accomplishes two things. Then we have our daily higher high, change of trend, and we're over that daily 12 EMA. So 2091, we really got it in our sights here. We really want to break that. So on the 5-minute, your RSI is getting slightly extended. And bears could be looking for a quick, I call it a cute short, cute being because it is really going counter trend here. Short really compared to 2089. Otherwise, if you're in bullish, you're feeling comfortable now, I would use the 2-minute as my guide as long as we're making higher highs. These look like Heikin-Ashi candles. As you can see, it's just constantly, it's not breaking the low of these candles. It's just moving up and marching. So that would be your first signal that the bears are getting traction. But right now, you're looking really good. Let me see if there's anything else I can offer. Just watch that RSI. It's almost 80 on the 2-minute. 15-minute is not overbought yet. Man, these bulls really want to see 2091 to clear because it's not enough to break this 2089 because your next resistance is so close by. Clear that 2091 and then you're looking really good. Let's turn off extended hours. After 2091, your next resistance is, you got a level right here of 20, let's see, sorry y'all. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. 2102, and then next resistance would be all the way up at 2285. So I really want to clear 21 psychological here, but bulls are looking really good. Watch your RSI and watch your 2-minute chart if you're in bull. Actually, this is looking a little squeezy, and I say that because the way the volume is compared to the earlier 2-minute volume bars and the way that it's just going straight up. It's looking a little squeezy. But if I were a bear, I would not. So then I have to put my hat on as a bear. Do I have any reason to cover my short? No. Until they clear 2091, no reason to cover short. So I may have been a little too early in calling this a short squeeze. So your support 2033 and then 2029 and then down at 2004, the low of day. Nugget. Okay, so I'm going to go to GDX. GDX, we covered it. I covered it in BYOC. We have this beautiful falling wedge here on the daily. I think Phil asked about it as well. So what you would be looking for, what I would say would be an ideal entry would be in this area right before 2604. So I'm talking GDX now, not Nugget, because we want to analyze the underlying. So somewhere between 2604 and 2618. Why do I say that? Because the psychology of a falling wedge is the bears push it down and the bulls say not so fast. And then the bears push it down, the bulls say not so fast. So the bears aren't getting follow through with these bear breaks, are just getting slight follow through. So what you'd want to see is a break of 2618 and then the bulls to buy that dip and use 2604 or $26 psychological as your support. So what I would be looking at, Phil Timber, is I would be looking at the 2 minute and wait for the 2 minute to make a trend change in here. I would say you're getting close. What's your RSI? You definitely got some bull divergence right now. On the 5 minute, 15 minutes oversold. So again, ideally you would see this break of 2618 and then the bulls buy it before it dips below 2604. So that would be the ideal entry. Now let me give you some nugget levels on a shorter term time frame. 2583, your next support is 2580. And after 2580, it's all the way down at 2432. You can already tell that this chart doesn't look like GDX because of the decay. So we have to be cautious in charting nugget. So on the 2 minute, your next resistance in nugget is 2612, 2613, and then 2641. So watch your GDX chart if you're attempting to trade nugget. Okay, BIIB, what a volatile name today. We love when we get volatile names. It gives us a lot of opportunity. Turn on my extended hours. So we got 279.16. That is holding right now on the 5 minute. Let me just zoom out, y'all, and get a little perspective real quick. I kind of saw a bear flag, but this is what you want to see with a bear flag. With a bear flag, you want to see a little bit of elevation. Just a dog leg is what I call it. You don't want to see the V, but you also don't want to see it flat either. A bear flag is you get that little oversold bounce and then you go on down to the downside. This is a little too sideways for me. It's a little EQ that's happening. Yeah, that's what we have, is we just have a perfect EQ. This is actually a very tradable EQ. I like it. So you have resistance at 285.42 and 288.55, support at 280.61 and 279.16. If we break 279.16, excuse me, your next support is down at 223.11. Let me zoom out real quick. It almost got that gap fill. Y'all see that? So that we had that low right here of 320.14 and we got to 318 today. It did not fill that gap to the upside today. It came close. I don't even know what the news was. But getting really, really tight. So if we break 280.61 here, then your next support would be 279.16. All right, X marks the spot. All right, X is squeezy, squeezy. We need to break 1113 to change this 4-hour trend, but let me get off extended hours because I think it's kind of making the picture not as clear. So we have this high at 1179, low at 1028. Then we have this high at 1113, and then we have this hammer forming where they're buying the dip. So it's somewhat of a 4-hour EQ. We turn on extended hours. This is a choppy chart. That's why I'm hesitating. The bulls are ferociously buying this dip. I would look to short it at 1113, and the reason why is because this is pretty extended, going from a lower low straight up. This looks news related because the way this odd action is. And on the 15 minute, you haven't established a proper higher low. So what I would be looking for is to short, looking for that higher low, which you should get, the odds favor because of the size of this bounce, and then continuation. The question is, will it be a bull flag? That doesn't have quite the right angle. Or would it be more of an EQ? With the size of this bounce, odds favor a bull flag because the bulls are really making a statement here. If you're in long, your next support is 1084 and then 1077. Your resistance again is 1113. It's just such odd action. I'd love to know what that news was here that caused the bulls to buy the dip so ferociously again. Okay. Where am I? AMD. I think it was last lunch with Lori or on BYOC where I shared the AMD fade. I don't remember. Y'all probably remember that AMD, the character of this ticker is to give it all up at opening and then bulls buy the dip. This happens often. If you trade AMD, you see this happen a ton where it just falls out of bed at open. So I'll be glad when I look more professional like Dan does, and I'm constantly bouncing all over the place. Y'all just going to have to forgive me. Okay, we got a double bottom at 31.66, 31.67, and you had this low over here of 31.65. So bulls are buying that dip. Your next support will be 31.41 if it breaks the low of day. On the 5-minute, your next resistance 31.87 and then 32.12. This is a very choppy chart. So if you're new to TA, what I mean is we have this nice EQ, we break bull, and then we give it all back. And now the bulls are trying to change the trend. What do we have to do to change the trend? We've got to get that higher high, then we got to get the higher low, then the higher high, because here we drop to a lower low. So a trend change to the upside starts with a higher low. So we got to get that higher low. So we got to move on past 31.87, or we may EQ out here. That's probably what, I shouldn't say what will happen. EQ out here. Remember with EQs, the tighter the better. We want tight EQs to trade. So 31.87 and then 31.96 and 32.12 are your resistances. What's SPY doing? SPY dropped to a lower low. On the 5-minute, we'll see if we break through 371 or form a lower high relative to 371. All right, beyond. How do y'all trade this? It gives me a headache just looking at it. Hi. Let me try to get some clarity for you. I don't want to be negative Nancy over here. This is an hourly downtrend. Y'all see me flipping. I'm trying to get you some clarity here. So we got lower lows. It looks like it had a little falling wedge here. So well, that's a terrible drawing, but y'all get the point. That we had a little bit of a falling wedge here, and then we broke to a higher high. And now the bulls are trying to establish 108.03 as their higher low. And then 107.02 low of day would be your next support resistance, 111.08 and 112.88. If I were going to trade this, I would want this $5 to almost $6 pull down and this big spike. We want it to tighten up again. To make this tradable, it has to get really tight. Why do I say tradable? Because I need to clearly define my risk. And I don't want my risk to be $3 or $4. I want it to be 50 cents to $1 on a ticker of this value. I want to get as close to resistance or support depending on which direction I'm going in order to trade this. And right now this range is just too big. So what you want if you're looking for a trade is you want it to kind of go up and get this lower high and then get a higher low and then just keep tightening up. I hope that was helpful. On beyond APHA. Choppy charts today, y'all. Nat gas is going. It's making a bull case saying, don't you try to short me, Lori. Okay, so APHA, we got, it held the low of after hours, 474. We got a higher high, 487. Then it broke to a lower low. I haven't looked at the ACB today to see what this correlation is, but bulls would love to see clear 490 in order for this low of 452 to hold. So in order for this low to hold, you got to break through the high of this candle right here at 490. We got to 487 and then stop. So the bulls really want to see it get over 490 so we can say confidently that this 452 is our low. That's the most important thing going on for this ticker long term. If you're looking for short-term trades, your 5-minute support is 472 and then 470, and we have a trend change. Bulls are getting stopped right here at 483. Odds favor a lower high relative to the high of day, and then a little pullback, and then the bulls would want to see go break that 487 and break that 490. It is key. It's interesting that we broke to a lower low and the bulls bought the dip, though. That's a bullish sign. Okay, NG, I think I went over that. Roku. Let's look at nat gas. I didn't cover the prudent thing is that we are getting this daily inverse head and shoulders that Dan has been calling out. So we got that left shoulder, we got the head, and now we're getting that right shoulder. Your next resistance on this shoulder is 2354, and then you want to break 2376 to have that bull break of this pattern. Okay, back to Roku. So on Roku, the odds favor a lower high relative to 176.55 on the weekly. So where are the bulls going to top out? So on the 4-hour, we want to see this 4-hour loss of an uptrend. We lost it here, and then the bulls are trying to save it here. But we really want to see this 4-hour trend change confirmation, which break through 12479, and that weekly lower high is likely set. On shorter time frames right now, again, let's talk about odds because that's how we trade is we try to stack the odds in our favor. So the odds favor a lower high relative to 134.01. So you would see this bounce here and then either EQ out depending on the size of the bounce or go down to a lower low. I've said it before. If you're a newer trader, Roku can be a difficult name to trade because it disassociates and disconnects from SPY, and sometimes we need SPY to give us clues on what ticker we're trading. CMG, Roku, and Tesla, those are 3 names that come to mind that can disconnect from SPY and do their own thing. So just be careful out there. So on the 5-minute, your support is this low 128.61, and then after that 128.21. This would be a juicy short if it could get closer to 134.01. All right, nugget. What stop of trying to play the bottom of wedge proper inch? Yep, it definitely can break bare and still bounce, which is the nature of a falling wedge. So let's look at GDX again. Yes, between 2618 and 2604, I would be looking for a level in between those two, and then I would stop out at 2604 is lost. After 2604, your next support is 2572. So even if it broke 2604, it doesn't mean it's game over on this wedge, but I would just be a little bit more cautious because then that next stop is 32 cents away, and that's a lot for a ticker that's 26 bucks. That's a lot. Lyft and Uber. Okay, now I'm curious what's going on with CGC. It broke 2093. That's not convincing, y'all. I said 2091, but it needs more than 2 pennies. But the bulls have got to be pretty excited about this development. Pretty excited. It's happening on convincing volume. The bulls showed up and they said, we're in prove it mode and we're going to show up with volume. So the bulls have to be very excited. We got this 5-minute RSI at 75. 15 is just now getting overbought. There you go, bulls. Keep it going. Keep it going. What else y'all got for me? It's only 10, well, we're only 23 minutes in. What else can I do for you? What is going on with Uber? Wow, what kind of news was that? So you got bulls profit taking up here. When y'all see a wick like that, y'all always tell yourself in your head, look at this chart. You got so many bags up here. You got bag holders, bag holders, bag holders. So any pop, they see that as an opportunity, as I'm going to offload my bags to all these suckers who are buying. So the people that bought up here, that's what they're doing is, oh, we got a pop on news. I don't even care what it is. They're giving out free gold and Uber cars, or all of them are going to be cash cabs. Don't care. Gonna sell my bags. That's what that upper wick tells you. So just be cautious on these news names. I have shared with many traders that I have helped along the way that stay away from news. If you're a newer trader, just stay away from it. You're going to get chopped up. So I don't care. My example I always use, I don't care if Elon Musk is going to jail. Don't short Tesla on a news pop. It's dangerous for newer traders. Stick to your edges that work, and news, I would say my win rate on news is less than 40%. So I stopped trading it. I just stopped trading it. Now I may short it. I may short a pop like this if you give me a straight level, but I'm not going to go in the direction of the news, which was obviously bullish on Uber. So I hope that helps someone today. Just be careful. Don't get caught up in the hype of news and that I'm going to make money fast, because that's more of a gambling tendency. And again, that edge is just not reliable. We need odds stacked in our favor all day, every day. And news doesn't give us that. All right, shop for my friend David. Let's see what's going on. Wow. Okay. Okay, so we do have a level there. Let's see if we have another level on the hourly. So I always share with y'all that I like to look at prior price levels. Even though these levels were breached and we went down to 370, that doesn't mean that price doesn't have memory and we don't have congestion in that area. So I would say in the 302s, we definitely have some congestion there. So that may be a level to go long, but at a minimum, you want a 2-minute trend change and you don't have it yet. I kind of like this for a falling wedge. This is my favorite chart so far that y'all have asked me about. I like it, David. You kind of get the picture. Wait for a 2-minute trend change is what I would do to get long. This has the tendency you're catching falling knives. I don't know if this has news or what's happening here. I'm not a fundamental trader anyway, for the most part. But definitely wait for a 2-minute trend change. So right now your low of day is 303.45. We've got to get over 305.24, make that higher low, and then break that high of 305.24. So I would wait for that 2-minute trend change to keep your hands from bleeding. I'm going to keep that chart up. I like that chart. Baba. Anyone that's traded Baba, we know 180 and 170 have been huge areas of congestion and memory. Look at that. Look at that. So again, same concept applies. I don't see this as clearly as a falling wedge. On shop, it was a little bit clearer. We got a 2-minute double bottom at 169.90. We want, hey Dove, we want that 2-minute trend change, okay, in order to see a possible oversold bounce. And here's the problem on this one as well, David, is this volume is low and puny. And look at shop. That's a little bit more prove it with this volume. So if I were looking at the two together, I would lean more toward shop, and also it's beat down more. So it's down almost 5%. Baba is down only 2%. Now let's look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is 25 on shop. And it's only 34 on Baba. So that's kind of how I gauge what oversold bounce if I'm looking at two setups, and I'm not going to trade both of them because this requires extreme focus, and focus is required in order for you to become a successful trader. So I would say, okay, I'm taking Baba off my radar, which Baba's trying to change the trend right now as I say that. But for me, I like to keep it simple, stupid. you know, let's just keep it simple and which one looks better. And I would say shop looks better. I delete Baba off my screen and then I become glued on shop. Why? Because this is an oversold bounce. This takes more finesse and more skill, more analysis than just doing an EQ or just shorting a 4-hour high, a lower high, or going long on a higher low. This takes more skill and more focus. So if you're in an oversold bounce, I would contend that you shouldn't be in any other day trades if you're in an oversold bounce. So right now, shop would have my attention, and clearing 305.24, by virtue, it would be over that 12 EMA on the 2 minutes. So I hope I helped you. All right. You're never late to the party, Dove. Okay, Aberdeen PFE. Let's take that extended hours. Nope, it still happened. So I would say the 15 minutes giving me the most clarity. So we had this low of 36.25 where it broke all these supports over here. And then we jumped to a higher high. And then now we're trying to make this low here of 36.49. Odds favor a lower high. So if I were looking for a trade on Pfizer, I would want this to get a lot tighter in order for me to get in. With this size move, you would expect an EQ. It's pulled back a little bit too much to be a bull flag. So your short-term support, again, they're trying to make this 36.49 this higher low, and then your next support is 36.25 after 36.70, which you have a triple top on the 15-minute. Look at that. And then your next resistance would be 36.81. You freaking nailed it, Dove. You absolutely nailed it. That 116.43, yep, it's still on my chart. It's so crazy when you get these levels and they kind of get in your heart and soul and you remember them. It was just a beautiful, beautiful bottom fish. And obviously they had earnings, yes, or they had a dividend. Did they have earnings too? I think they did. So this looks like a nice EQ, this setting up. I love this triangle feature here, here. So we've got this EQ setting up and you have resistance at, now I'm gonna have to clear it to see, 123.74 and 124.22. You have support at 121.60 and 118.60. Bulls want to see a hold of 121.60. So if you're looking to go long, you could bottom fish this level here. 15-minute provides the most clarity, 121.60. SLB, Schlumberger. Wow, Schlumberger like the oil news. How's oil doing, by the way? Still pulling back from that news spike. So Schlumberger. 1 hour RSI is 81. Be careful there. We got a daily trend change. Daily trend change on Schlumberger. So on the weekly, though, we're still expecting a lower high relative to 40.25. So this is a beautiful EQ. Who asked about this? Ben Burr. Oh, I think you're new, Ben Burr. Welcome. So here, this 41.40, low 31.03, lower high 40.25, higher, oh, we broke it. Never mind, my eyes deceived me. We broke that. Is that right? 30.65, yep. Okay, never mind, not an EQ. We broke that low of 31.03, but the bulls did buy it as if it were a low. Okay, so stop getting sidetracked, Lori. We would still expect a lower high relative to 40.25. Bulls have to be extremely pleased with this push up and this great move. Again, 1 hour RSI is 81. Your next resistance is 34.93. So if you're in a long, I would be cautious there and take a little bit off as it approaches 34.93. And the way that I trade that is then I will re-enter if it breaks through 34.93, or I'll wait for wait for that 15-minute lower high. So we've just gone straight up all day. We've gone straight up. So we need that higher low, excuse me, in order to get some continuation because your RSI is so extended. Back. Sorry, I just got to check out a few names here. Big bear volume just came in on shop, David. Be careful. Oh, actually, it was disguised on that 2 minute. Did y'all see that? Sometimes you have to go to the 1 minute just for the volume details. That's the only thing I used a 1 minute chart for. Okay, it was bull volume. There we go. There's that shop oversold bounce. And the way that I would trade this oversold bounce is I would just move my stop up on the 2 minute. Okay, let's go back to SPY real quick. Okay, SPY said we're blowing right through 371. We got a double top of the high of day, 389, 390. If we get through the high of day, your next resistance is 302.63. But the most likely scenario I like to go over every week is look at this. We had prior price congestion in the 302s, 302.23 and 302.46. So we may get stopped there if we were to continue this bull move before we even get to 302.63. So just always pay attention to prior price levels, even if they were breached. So they're going to pull back now on this double top. All right, let me get back to where we were back. No problem, Ben. Welcome. Okay, BAC. BAC bulls are hungry. And y'all remember, don't forget that BAC had this weekly EQ. We broke bull. Weekly EQ. And they got that big news. Buffett was making a push to get more than 10% or something. So it's just having a great tailwind from that news as well. So your next resistance is 31.49 right here. Actually 31.37, 31.49, and then 31.91. If you're in a trade, I would just march my stop up. I would probably, if you're in a long day trade, I'd probably use 31.21 as my my support. Then your next support is 31.17. I would not be looking to short this name. The bulls are on fire. We do have some bearish divergence on the hourly RSI. I don't trade divergence. I just factor it into the back of my head. I just make note of it, but I trade price levels. Oh, earnings is today. OPG. All right. All right. Where am I? OH is getting that bull break. Dan talked about the oversold bounce on OH. XLF. Yeah, highly unusual for SPY to go from a low a day to high a day in one move. The odds don't favor that. So if you miss that move, don't sweat it because that would have been hard to predict. Yep. Yeah, I just gave a great short opportunity right there. It's a triple top actually on the 2 minute chart. So nice pullback. But the way these bulls are hungry on volume, Phil. So watch that. So that's how I kind of gauge whether I'm going to go short or not. So we got this short, we got that level, then we got double top, now a triple top. But I wouldn't have shorted that because of this volume. So when bulls start showing up like that in masses, then I don't really want to step in front of that train. But it should help this oversold bounce on shop, this SPY move. All right, where are we? Oil's finally bouncing from this extreme pullback. So EQ is most likely here from 53.06, 54.78. We got our higher low now at 54.18. And I would be looking for a lower high relative to this 54.78 15-minute double top and then wait for oil to tighten on up. Don't forget, today is Tuesday. So we have the API estimates at 4:30 Eastern. And that's a voluntary reporting, this external institution. I don't know exactly how to quantify or qualify their status, where they give estimates on what they think the account not the rig count, but the oil production barrels are going to be, and it can impact price. So if you're in an oil long or short, you need to have Tuesday at 4:30 on your calendar and Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern on your calendar as well for actual inventories. MO. Ooh, sorry. Hourly RSI is 80, Dove. Man. Weekly, we're still expecting a lower high relative to 1545. It has earnings October 31st. We are in a clear weekly downtrend, and bulls are trying to change that. This happened on volume, so I can't disregard this 52.45. Got some congestion in the $47 area. I would be looking to snag a daily higher low, Dove. So I would be looking here. I would be looking for a back test. If you could get in on these EMAs, we got a daily EMA cross, which is very bullish, but I would be looking for that daily higher low. I couldn't get in at these RSI levels for a long. I couldn't. So you'd want to pull back and then possible continuation. Weekly is not overbought, but every time frame from daily on down, that 12-hour RSI is 83. Yeah, that's a no-go for me. Now, this could be news related. I'm sure you know, Dove. I don't. So news, sometimes when news is the factor for the push, then RSI is not as important. But even with news, I can't enter a long position with a 4-hour RSI of 86. Shop what you doing. Got over the 305.24, has to hold 303.45 here. We still don't have a trend change. We've got to get that higher low. Need the higher low on shop for that bounce. What's SPY doing? Interesting action on SPY. You normally see an inverse head and shoulders at the bottom of a downtrend, an inverse head and shoulders and a head and shoulders. That is a reversal pattern. So what you see is on a downward move, when you see a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, that's a reversal pattern, and the same thing for when you see a head and shoulders. So you don't see an inverse head and shoulders at the top of an uptrend, but this is interesting. We made these lower lows and we continue to push on. I don't know if there was news associated with SPY. Again, I don't really follow news anyway. Okay. No problem, Dove. CGC. If I could sing, I would. These bulls are on fire, but I can't sing. Nice, nice move. I'm going to clear this. Get over the daily 12 EMA bulls. Get over it. And we don't want the. So our day is, let's see. Our average volume is 5.57 million on CGC. We're at 1.83 million. So we have half day. So that's pretty low volume. Bulls, you got to show up a little bit more. We need more volume on CGC to push over. There you go. Push. P-U-S-H. Push. Push. And we do not, if you're a bull, you don't want to see a bear flag here. We don't want to see that. So we need to get a little bit of a V-shaped thing going here. What's going on with ACB? They didn't get the memo. They're supposed to be a bull. Huh. This looks like an inverse head and shoulders here, y'all. Be aware of it. It's not tradable right now. That's not a tradable potential. All right. What am I missing? Yeah, Facebook is just getting a living, you know what, beat out of it. BIIB. Fiona is all over that. Look at that move. Wow. So we had that nice tightening pattern. I hope some of you got that trade, this EQ here. Just beautiful. And then boom, bull break. And for those of you who are interested, this is not an absolute, but you can have, let's see, right here, the measured move is the base of a wedge. So if you have a triangle here, the measured move is that the height of this the base of the triangle. So in this instance, that would be $9. So you would stack $9 on top of 288 would be the measured move. Doesn't always happen, but it's pretty interesting. This is Bukowski. He's the one that came up with the concept of measured moves. So $9 on top of 288 would be a nice chunk of change. That would be $750, $297.50. Interesting. Okay, so on the 15-minute, we would still expect, well, on the 5-minute, we would still expect a lower high relative to 307.38. We got a nice little trend change going. Way to catch it, Fiona. Nuggets trying to make a move. I just want to tell y'all or remind y'all that, so we have this mother chart here on the daily of a falling wedge. Mothers have babies. So this mom chart, which is the daily, the higher time frame, it had a little baby here. This is somewhat of a falling wedge here and here. So pretty interesting. I love when mamas have babies. All right, last call for alcohol or tickers. First time buyer of shop. She nailed that higher low. She sure did. Way to go, Fiona. Hope you got it too, David. Nat Gas got the smackdown. It has this 2308 resistance here, and we topped out at 2306. Hi, Eddie. Welcome. Amazon for 40 Rock. These options are untradeable for me, Andy. I'm sure they are for you too with the earnings. So right now we got a 5-minute EQ. So we got our last lower high at 1775.80, and then your next resistance 1776.38. This support was established at 1773.35, and then 1770.55. Just a note, look at this bull volume declining, which lends itself to the bears. Yeah, this is the best way that I could depict this for clarity, Andy, is this, we had this little bobble here, and I call it a bobble because we kind of made a little bit of a high and a low, but I'm just going to disregard that. That just takes away from the clarity here of this EQ pattern. This kind of makes it clear for me to see how we're going to break. You could possibly short 1775.80 or long 1773.35, but overall, I traded Amazon once today. I longed this 1771, and I just did a quick flip on commons. It's just not, again, very tradable for me with earnings so nearby. Okay, you got in last week. All right. You know how to trade Amazon. You're Amazon king. Shop bounce continues to go. My favorite thing to trade of late is XBI. I've been trading LABD and LABU like crazy. Why 1771? I use it as a double bottom, Andy. So here, the 1771.22, when it came down, I said 1770.75 because I know Amazon does these little bobbles where it tries to get you out and then bounces. So with a ticker that's over $1,700, I will give myself about $1 wiggle room. So I entered over here probably around 1771.60, and then I flipped out for about $5 on a few shares. So, but I was trying to get this double bottom here, and again, $1,700 stock is I'm going to give it about $1 wiggle room. Hope that makes sense. Shop is doing well, Roku. Yeah, I did common, Andy. It's just the premium is too high for me on Amazon. I don't like paying that premium because if I'm getting the trade the wrong direction, then the decay will kill me. All right, if y'all don't have anything else. Okay, Facebook, where's the bottom? Man, continues to fall. Let's get all these old numbers off the chart. Your next support is 179.17, so let's call it 180 psychological and then 179.17. Looking a little climaxy here on the 2-minute. I don't know what the news was. I need to go back in the room. But this could be a volume climax. The more cautious bulls are waiting for a 5-minute trend change. The more aggressive bulls are waiting for a 2-minute trend change to try to just catch an oversold bounce. Again, if you're doing oversold bounces, stick with one name, and I would not have more than one day trade on if I'm doing. Yeah, the premium is absolutely crazy, Andy. On oversold bounces, I like to keep one ticker in my crosshairs and tune out all other noise because it takes a lot of finesse. Hope some of you caught that shop bottom fish. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to be watching Facebook. I missed the shop bounce, so Facebook is my next focus for a day trade. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. Use your stop losses and don't go trying to drum up trades. Let the trade come to you. All right, see y'all in the room.